A club with a rich history. Nottingham Forest have been the biggest and been managed by the very best. Once a feared force in the Premier League too, their powers soon waned. Most recently relegated from the top flight in 1999, the two-time European champions even spent seasons lingering in the third tier of English football. But after the longest wait, Forest are no longer in the wilderness.
For a club to have won 2 European Cups and 1 League Cups and been FA Cup finals and be a Premier League status club at one point, you know, they're back where they belong, and it means an awful lot to people. I've known people who've supported Forest all their life, like myself.
In terms of the history of Nottingham Forest, the period the fans are most proud of was the Brian Clough era, where he took a relatively unfashionable club to 2 European Cups and a league title. And I don't think it will ever happen again, where a team comes from such relative obscurity to dominate Europe as they did for 2 years.
Anywhere you go in the world pretty much, and you mention Nottingham, people will say Robin Hood or Brian Clough or Nottingham Forest. They're 3 things that are really synonymous with Nottingham as a city, and the Robin Hood folklore is everywhere really. Anywhere you go around here, it's there. You've got the Brian Clough statue in the centre. There's so much rich history here.
This club means an awful lot to me. Played over 500 games for the club, played in the Premier League, played in the UEFA Cup, played in some Wembley Cup finals as well. So it means a lot to me, it means a lot to my family and people that obviously I know. This club means an awful lot to people in the city.
Being back in the Premier League means everything to Forest fans. It's been a really arduous journey over the past 22 years. Far more downs than ups, but that moment at Wembley, which is obviously the best way to get promoted, the worst way to stay down, but we wouldn't change that for anything. And that moment at the final whistle just meant the world, and I can't wait for kick-off on match day 1.
I think the most important thing for Forest this year is that they maintain their Premiership status. They've made some great signings this year. Jesse Lingard's a huge positive for Nottingham Forest. Obviously his background is Manchester United. He was in a pool of players which were all superstars, scored goals for England, went out on loan to West Ham and stood on his own 2 feet off the back of what he's done at Manchester United and scored some really important, some fantastic goals. So to have Jesse Lingard here as a superstar within this football club, hopefully he'll relish it. It doesn't seem a shy character, shall we say, from seeing what he does on his social media. But I hope there'll be lots more of his dancing and his loud shirts on Instagram and all his social media posts after he scored goals to make Forest win games. To have 2 international goalkeepers, Wayne Hennis is here as well, he's just come in, so with Dean Henderson. But I still think there's room for more manoeuvre.
I think we've just got to take one game at a time. Hopefully the City ground's going to be like a fortress this season, and if it is and the fans get behind us, never say never on what we can achieve. So I think it's important, I think it's a collective goal, and we've just got to go to the table as far as we can.
They've got some really good players in the squad, players that are ready to test themselves at Premier League level and who are more than capable of making the step up. Brennan Johnson's the one who really stands out. He's had a fantastic season in the Championship, his first season really at that level, and he was just incredible.
Brennan he's fast, he's direct, he has an eye for a goal. He makes assists for all the players as well, so Nico Williams will probably play down the right-hand side with him as well. So establish a new relationship there, but not stop doing what he does and just be free and go play. I'm sure the manager just likes him to go out there and express himself. I think Steve Cooper's appointment was massive for the club. Everybody knows where they were when he first got appointed. And to start from a kind of below negative point of having few points on the board in the first place when you've only got 1, to achieve what he did at the end of the season was now miraculous. He's some kind of miracle worker. But like I say, the work from last season is done. You now have to carry on to this season, and it gets a whole lot harder.
The fans absolutely love Steve Cooper, and he will be afforded the chance to make 1 or 2 mistakes early on because this is the toughest league in the world, but we're right behind him. We believe in his ability to add more value to this squad, to get more out of players than anybody else perhaps could. And I think in time he'll be remembered as one of the greatest managers that Forest have had.
It's important that Forest use that promotion as a stepping stone. They've been very clear that this isn't just a one-off achievement, that it's the start of something, that it's the beginning, it's the start of more success. They talk about bringing back the glory days.
I believe this club can stay in the Premier League and go on from strength to strength. They have to keep injury free. They have to be at the top of their game all the time, because as soon as you take your foot off the gas or you're mentally not resilient, the big teams will crucify you. So it's going to be a really big ask. But Steve Cooper's got a group of players which I believe are good enough to stay in this Premier League. I hope they enjoy this Premier League and go on and do some really good things this season.